Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So, I just finished watching Elvis, which I really wanted to do, but since I'm kind of on leave of absence from my main job that supports this whole channel, I didn't really have a lot to go see this movie in theaters like I wanted to, and here we are. On the final day before I start Dark Night Month / Dark Month, which I should say I'm going to make some I'm gonna change some things around because I originally wanted to start with Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, and work my way up from there. But now that I can't find Psycho on anything, I'm going to do 70s to 2013, I guess. That's the best I can do at this point. So, anyways. And that's all I have to say on that front. Now, Elvis. Yes, I'm wearing my sling ring. Just because. Anyways, so Elvis. Interesting movie. Really good. I would say it's one of the best biopics I have seen so far. Yes, they might have kept some things out and might have embellished a little stuff here and there, but other than that, it was really good. I loved it, and it opens your eyes to what we didn't see behind the scenes of Elvis's life when he wasn't performing or in the public, you know? I mean, yeah, it was more just one-sided, which is good. I would also like to see a more personal side that we haven't really seen of Elvis, you know? And I thought it was really, really interesting on just this guy who was just a random fat circus promoter, and then Elvis, he helped Elvis grow, but he was also the downfall of Elvis, which it's good to see. It was interesting to see the rise and the fall of Elvis in just one movie. And yeah, they touched upon him going to service, but they didn't really go into depth on that, you know? They also touched upon his acting career, but they didn't really go too deep in that either. It was just like, we're just gonna mention this. It's part of Elvis's life. In like a couple of montages. And trust me, I love a good montage, but this montage was pretty okay. It was pretty good. Pretty good it was pretty okay in a good way. If I'm, you know what? Anyways, yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it. It was a good, nice biopic that makes you think, wow, Elvis was fucked. Quite literally fucked. Like, I really feel bad for Elvis. After seeing this movie, I have a whole new respect for the King of Rock. And yeah, he for his time, he was very, very controversial. In the times he grew up in the era he was a part of, you know? He was a part of a serious time in American history. And his music, his films, or whatever he did, transcends time. And there's a line in the movie where he's like this. There was this part where it's kind of like what the times were back then versus what the times are now. It's kind of like a mirror. You know? Like, when, I believe Elvis says, America's hurting, and whatnot, and it's like, yeah, America is hurting. America is broken. America is lost. And that's so true. That is so true. Because if you look at it from a 1960s, 1950s point of view, with the whole segregation and civil rights movement that was happening back then, yeah, America was lost. America was broken for that time. Now, if you look at America from a modern day, today's standpoint, with the Me Too movement with political correctness and feminicity and toxic feminicity or whatever. There's really no heart anymore. You know? Like, it's all these, like, toxic people wanting to push their political correctness, feminist, toxic feminist stuff down our throats without heart, without the love behind anything they do or say. And I've seen that quite literally. I've seen it in the Arrowverse with some of the stuff they have put out in the in last decade. The whole celebrities just being rageful and just doing whatever the heck they want because, you know, for example, frickin' the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock situation, Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp, just to name a couple, just to use a couple of examples of just everything that's been going on in the modern day America. And with the whole back then, presidents getting assassinated, senators getting assassinated, the assassination of Martin Luther King, and more like singers were using their voice at that time to inspire people, to inspire musicians of like the 80s and the 90s or 70s, you know, to use their voice to speak on like the civil rights. And it was just a crazy time during the 50s and 60s and 70s because you had so much going on. But yet at the same time, so little being said or spoken. So what were they supposed to do, you know? And it's kind of like that with today with actors and with the Me Too movement, political correctness, and just being an artist or being creative, you know? Nobody really knows what to do, where to go, who to listen to, how to listen to this person or that person, that chick, that guy, or lady, dude, whatever, you know? And it's like a weird kind of, I can see that. Interesting. What a winky dink that there are similarities between what we are seeing in America, people being rageful and just killing a bunch of people for no reason, or if they did have a reason, not very good reasons, you know. And it's the same way back then. But we forgot about, we forget that times back then were pretty brutal. And times are pretty brutal now. You know? And it's like, wow. This movie works so well in today's world, in today's society, that we have mirrored, and history pretty much mirrored or repeated itself just oh so slightly, that we have forgotten what makes us us. What makes me and you who we are. And at the same time, you're learning so much about Elvis in the process. If you don't know much about Elvis, you learn a lot about Elvis. You know, you can watch. There's tons of movies about Elvis. Or with Elvis. You know, there are movies with Elvis and there are movies about Elvis. You know, and the man he was versus what he became, you know. And it's like you when you're watching this movie, you feel bad for Elvis because he was being used by this guy who was mistreating him and just working him like a freaking donkey. And he literally fell because he was listening to this guy who was abusing his talent and his dream. And Elvis didn't know any better. You know, he just had this dream of being an inspiration to people, that he'd lost sight of who he was and what he is in that time, and he was just riding high because he wanted to reach that tippy top of success, fame, and fortune. And it's the same way with actors today. You know, when you're riding high, there's always a downfall. There's always a crash. You know, you always fall. But you can always pick yourself up. You can always get back up to the tippy top, even though it might not be what it once was or what you once remembered it to be. because things change. And you literally have to ask yourself, did I do the right thing? Did I love the right people to get where I am today in my career, in my line of business, in my line of job? And it's unique, but yet satisfying, because this movie makes you think about everything, and it's very, very eye-opening, but really, really good. Really good. I love it. 10 out of 10. Wow. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys so far. Please like, share, subscribe, and have a good day. Thanks. Bye.